Hey techies, welcome back in Tech IBP channel. So techies, today's topic is for each loop. In last tutorial we discussed about for loop, and before that we discussed about if condition, how we can use if condition, why if condition is used, and how we can use for loop, where we use for loop. And today's topic is for each loop. Okay, so for each loop is really important topic to solve the problem in programming. Okay, so first thing is for each loop is introduced in Java 5 and used to iterate through the array and collection without using the index. Okay, you don't focus on this one. Using the index, we can deeply discuss about the what is the index position in the array, how we can sort the array. Okay, but you can just focus on the definition. Okay, used to iterate through the array. For each loop is used to iterate through the array. The thing is that guys here, for loop is also used for iterate for the iteration. Okay, and for each loop is also used for iteration, but the basic difference between the both for loop and for each loop is in for loop we didn't know sorry, we know about the number of iteration, but in for each loop we don't know the number of iteration, how many times it will be iterated. Okay, let me note down, let me note down, make a note for this one. Note for loop, in for loop, in for loop we know the number of iteration, we know the number of iteration. Okay, we know the number of iteration. Okay, but in for each loop, for each loop we didn't aware about aware about the number of iteration, number of iteration. Okay, so what do you mean by the number of iteration? Okay, so let's recall for loop. Okay, how we can define the for loop? For, okay, for int I equals to 0 and I less than greater than equals to 10, and then I increment or decrement what you want to be performed. Okay, so here tech is, you know the number of iteration, it will be executed 10 times, 5 times, 100 times, or 1000 times. This is here, you know number of iteration, but in for each loop you don't know the number of iteration. If we talk about the syntax of the for each loop, then this one is the syntax of the for each loop. This one, for data type we already discussed in the last tutorial. Variable, what are the variable, we already discussed. And the collection of array, in upcoming tutorial we can discuss about the collection of array, what are the array. So stay tuned with this channel to get knowledge about the basic Java programming or the programming concepts. Okay, and then you can provide the body of the loop. Okay, so practically we can do, suppose you have an array int a equals to, sorry, you have an array a equals to this one, 10, 20, 40, 50, 30. Okay, this one is array. So how you can do this one? Here you don't know the number of iteration. Let me increase this number once again. Okay, for int num colon a, here we can assign the value of a to num. Okay, now you can just simply print sys out. Sys out means system dot out dot println. Okay, and here you can provide num. Okay, let me execute this one. So now you are getting this one. Okay, and let's again increase 40. Okay, or 70. Okay, but in for loop this will not possible. Why? Let's take example for the for loop. Let me create a for loop for int I equals to 0, I less than greater than equals to 10, I plus plus. Okay, here sys out, and let me print I. Okay, let me print I. You are getting this number here. You don't know, you know exactly number of iteration, how many time it will be executed, but in for loop you don't know the number of iteration, it will be how many time it will be executed. Okay, so this is a basic difference about the for loop and for each loop. So I hope guys you get understanding about the for loop and for each loop, what are the basic difference between both the loops. Okay, so stay tuned to get more amazing stuff about SDET rule interview question. Goodbye, have a nice day.